Today, the 29th day of January 2019. The news headline. Finally, has Devil Umahi handed over Ebonyi State to his Fulani kinsman, in exchange for the 2023 presidential ticket? It is on record that the so-called Southeast governors in Nigeria are the first best stooges of the Fulani Islamic Caliphate, who are in turn, the puppets of the parasitic and exploitative Britain. These men of zero honor are the main reason the Freedom of Biafrans from Nigeria has become tough, given that at one point or the other, each has been brainwashed with the gift of becoming Mr. President. These evil men play stooges because they are beneficiaries of the evil system that runs a fraudulent constitution which empowers them to loot the Treasury, impoverish the masses, and inflict pain and poverty on the people, all to the pleasure of their slave masters, the Hausa Fulani. It is no surprise that Devil Umahi, Dave for short, as Governor of Ebonyi State has stepped up the game by ensuring that Ebonyi State made the list of the 10 states handed over to the Fulani Terrorists, using National Livestock Transformation Plan, NLTP, as a camouflage. An excerpt from The Sun, Nigeria, January 18, 2019. The National Economic Council, NEC, has approved the National Livestock Transformation Plan, NLTP, to address the clashes between farmers and herders in the country. It went further to unveil the tricky side of the subtle land acquisition. Speaking during a ministerial briefing in Abuja, Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdulrahman Damaso, RTD, argued that since Nigeria is a signatory to the ECOWAS Protocol and free movement, it will be an impossibility to stop the movement of cattle. This memo got the express approval of the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, a pastor and San, on the January 17, 2019. Ebonyi is the only state in Biafra that made the list of 10 states to be used as kickoff points. Other states under forceful acquisition for the disguised Islamization project, which was packaged as cattle ranching, include some north-central and southwestern states, with some specific locations already earmarked for takeoff. It is worthy of note that this plan that is purported out to benefit only the Fulani herdsman, which indeed is the commencement of the project of total Islamization of the southern Nigeria, will use up the bulk of the agriculture budget each year. The kickoff plan is set at 2 trillion. Recall that sometime in 2018, this same Devil Umahi had a secret meeting with the Caliphate, and after that, summoned the traditional rulers and other concerned authorities to agree on grazing locations with the terrorist Fulani herdsmen, the federal government jihadist footmen. This man, Devil Umahi, told his bemused audience that he was going to provide water in such locations because the state government does not have the resources for ranching. He went further to warn Ebonyi people about the grave consequences of any case relating to the loss or death of cows. Meanwhile, Dave was completely silent on the havoc being unleashed by the federal government jihadi militia, commonly called herdsmen, who destroy crops, damage farmlands, abduct, rape, and kill indiscriminately. Isn't this a mockery? Again, don't forget this Islamization project is being packaged as a support for the private business of one deadliest terror groups in the world, Fulani herdsmen, of which Nigeria government officials are the patrons and grand patrons. The poisonous carrot of becoming the president of this British inhumanity and a replication of the eternal hell called Nigeria, has been dangled before almost all the leprous fingers of the same hand, who call themselves the governors of the so-called Southeast. This has inflamed them to doing even the unimaginable, just to please their so-called Caliphate overseers, into whose hands their British masters committed their toxic cauldron and evil forest called Nigeria. The painful thing is that after pushing one scavenger or the other, extracting even cutthroat concessions from them. With the duplicitous promise of the presidency, they shift to another, repeating the same cycle. Devil Umahi kan askarakas akoroka avimo, akoro wausa, akazikpizu of Abia and Willie Obiano of Anambra. They have all been scammed. How ironical that what matters to Devil Umahi, a Christian governor from Christian Biafra land, is the promise of 2023 presidential ticket of the Muslim Brotherhood called APC ticket, and nothing else. If this ambition of his would mean wiping away the entire people of Ebonyi, it means nothing to Devil Umahi, a PDP governor, in Ebonyi State. How so sad. The Biafra struggle has awakened the average Biafran to be wary of the satanic governors selected for them by the Caliphate. The emergence of the supreme leader of the Great Ipob, Mazinam Kanyo, and his Great Ipob is the best thing that has ever happened to any true Biafran, since the invasion, forceful occupation of Biafra land, and consequent so-called amalgamation with the barbarians and savages of Sahara Desert, by the tyrannical, bloodthirsty, and sadistic Britain. In our leader's last broadcast, he revealed how Devil Umahi ran to Dr. Umahi and asked for his support President Buhari, who is alerted to be impersonated by Jubril Aminu of Sudan, because he, Devil Umahi, has been promised 2023 presidential ticket. It is for this empty packet promise of shadowy presidential ticket that Devil Umahi, he claims he is Devil Umahi, the governor of Ebonyi State, has collaborated with the gangsters, bandits, and terrorists at Hausa Rock, to invade Ebonyi militarily, in an exercise called Operation Python Dance 3, involving abductions, kidnappings, torture, incarceration, extortion, and extrajudicial killings by Nigeria military. As if this was not enough, Devil Umahi has gone a step further, by unilaterally approving boundless portion of land for the settlement of the barbaric Fulani expansionists, in the name of grazing site. We can agree that without Ipob, the entire Biafra land, presently under occupation by Britain, through their proxy, Nigeria, would have been handed over to the Fulani terrorists and Islamic jihadists, who disguise themselves as herdsmen, by now. We therefore use this medium to call on the people of Ebonyi State to rise up against the impending doom that Devil Umahi represents, and nip the danger in the bud. We must resist the inclusion of Ebonyi State in the just approved agriculture document, NLTP, by the rogues, genocidists, terrorists, Islamic extremists and jihadists at Hausa Rock. #Stop Devil Umahi. #Stop Biafra killings. #Support Biafra referendum. #Boycott 2019 Nigeria election. Written by Ngozi Chukwueze Dev. For Lagos State Media. Edited by Akwa Okongwu. For Lagos State Media. Published by Chibuike John Nebiakike. For Lagos State Media. News source www.thebiafratelegraph.co